Welcome into the Archetype Sports Business Podcast. Thank you so much for joining us. Here we are on the cusp of the Tour de France. It begins tomorrow. How exciting. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that I'm wearing the LCL hat. This is a live LCL hat that was thrown out at the Tour. And like a small fanboy, I ran up and got the hat. That is the hat I'm now wearing. So in honor of the Tour starting tomorrow, what we're going to do here is something a little bit different. We're going to look at all the teams that are going to be in the Tour. We're going to look at their bike sponsors, and we're going to look at where their bike sponsors are from, and just talk a little bit about that and kind of set the stage for the Tour with the two main sponsorship pieces, which is team title sponsor and bike sponsor. So without further ado, so for the 2021 Tour, the 108th edition of the Tour de France, there's going to be 23 teams running total. There's going to be the Pro Tour teams, and then there's two teams that are invited by the Tour organizers to do the race. All right, so let's look at the teams. You've got UAE, which of course has defending champion Tadej Pogačar on the team. We'll see how he handles the time trials in this year's Tour. They race on Colnago, which is an Italian bike manufacturer. And of course, the founder made the yellow bike that Tadej Pogačar rode into Paris the night before, shipped it over to him, and he rode on a yellow Colnago into Paris. That, of course, was last year. And again, we'll see if he can repeat this year. Then we've got Team Jumbo-Visma. Jumbo-Visma rides Cervelo, which is a Canadian bike manufacturer. They, of course, have Primoz Roglic, pardon my pronunciation, who is most likely many people's odds-on favorite to win. Then rounding out kind of the big three here in some ways, we've got Ineos Grenadiers, the large private conglomerate that makes these four-wheel drive vehicles. They're riding on Pinarellos, which is an Italian bike manufacturer. They're going to be led up by Geraint Thomas and Richard Carapaz. We will see what they've got in store for Team Jumbo-Visma and Tadej Pogačar. All right. Israeli Startup Nation. They have the big Chris Froome, who's won, I guess, let me get my notes from Pro Cycling Stats. Chris Froome is a four-time Tour winner. Chris Froome's a four-time Tour winner, but he's now 35 and is not racing Masters. He's racing the main race and is leading up him and Mike Woods leading up Israeli Startup Nation. And Israeli Startup Nation is riding Factor bikes, which are based in the UK. All right. Trek Segafredo. This one's going to be tough. They're riding Treks. It's in the name. Trek is, of course, a U.S.-based company based in Washington, and, of course, is what Lance rode in his 7 Tour victories. They've got Vincenzo Nibali, Bauke Mollema, Julian Bernard. We'll see how they fare. Okay, Deceuninck Quick-Step, the iconic, ever-present Deceuninck Quick-Step. Of course, they're very good at the classics. They ride Specialized, which is a U.S.-based company out of Morgan Hill, California, which I actually used to live just a few minutes away from there. Casper Asgreen, Julian Alaphilippe, Mark Cavendish. Interesting group of riders. Movistar team. Of course, the Spanish team, it's the iterations of Ils Boliris and, it's Miguel Indurain's team back in the day, et cetera, et cetera. It's that same structure, and now they are the Movistar team. They've got Miguel Angel Lopez. Of course, Alejandro Valverde is probably the only person older than Chris Froome in the race. I don't know if that's true. I'm just saying they're both fantastic riders, Chris Froome and Alejandro Valverde. But the Movistar team, they ride Canyon, which are a German bike manufacturer, and they ship direct to customer. Bora Hansgrohe. This, of course, they ride Specialized. They ride Specialized, which is a U.S.-based company based out of Morgan Hill, California. And a big reason why they ride Specialized is Peter Sagan's deal, where wherever Peter Sagan goes, he will be riding Specialized. And from the Move podcast and some other sources, it looks like when and if Peter Sagan leaves Bora Hansgrohe, he's taking up to 9 riders and staff with him wherever he goes. So if another team wants him, they've got to pay his salary. They've got to pay these other riders that he wants to ride with. They've got to pay the masseuse and PR person and all of that stuff that Peter Sagan wants to take with him. All right. Groupama FDJ, French team. They ride Lapierre bikes, which you can guess is a French-based company out of Dijon. And FDJ, of course, is an omnipresent French representation in the pro peloton. All right. Cofidis, solutions of credit to credit. Cofidis Credit Solutions. They ride De Rosa bikes from Italy. And we'll see how Guillaume Martin can climb. Pardon my French again. Next, we've got Alpecin Phoenix, which, of course, is actually a team that got an invite to the tour. But with that being said, they really are one of the teams that's because of Mathieu van der Poel and because of the way they've raced, they're one of the most sort of notable teams throughout this season. Throughout the one-day races, they've been omnipresent at the front, along with Dakota Quickstep. And of course, if you haven't seen it, I'll post it up here. They've got some amazing jerseys for the Tour de France, very retro, purple, yellow, if you're listening, very cool. Be on the lookout for them. And of course, Mathieu van der Poel has headed up that team and will be looking for, reportedly, will be looking for the yellow jersey that first week. All right, EF Education Nippo, which of course is the U.S.-based team. They ride Cannondale, which is a U.S.-based bike company out of Connecticut. Rigoberto Urán, who of course has a podium finish. Nelson Powles. They've got some really good riders, and we'll see how they do. All right, AG2R Citroën team. They ride BMC from Switzerland. Next up, Team Arkea Samsic. Warren Barguil's team. They ride Canyon, again from Germany, that ships direct to consumer. Next up is Team DSM. They ride Scott, which is based in Switzerland. Team Lotto Soudal, of course a Belgian team. They ride Ridley bikes, which is a Belgian-based manufacturer. They've got the Watt powerhouse Caleb Ewing on their team, probably the best sprinter in the peloton. Philippe Gilbert, Thomas Gent, some really, really electrifying riders on the team. And again, they'll be riding the Ridley bikes based out of Belgium. Bahrain Victorious. They used to be Bahrain Merida, and they are still riding the Merida bikes out of Taiwan, an Asian manufacturer. Team Bike Exchange. They'll be riding Bianchis. Of course, we did a podcast on Bianchi, I think episode 2. The history, some of the notable riders that have ridden Bianchi. And of course, Bianchi is an Italian manufacturer. Team Bike Exchange has got Michael Matthews and Luke Durbridge and Simon Yates. They should be an electrifying part of the tour. All right, Astana Premier Tech. So Astana Premier Tech, they ride Wheelier Triestina. I'm probably butchering that, just FYI, but Wheelier bikes, Anyway, they're out of Italy. Then we've got Team Quebeca, Next Hash, and they'll be riding BMC, again, BMC out of Switzerland. Team Total Energies, the 21st team in the tour. Team Total Energies will be riding the Wheelier, which I'm, again, probably butchering, and they are out of Italy. They've got the boyish-faced Edvald Bosenhagen. We'll see how they do. Okay, then number 22 team, we're getting here near the end. The 22nd team will be Intermarché Wanty Gobert, and they are riding Cube bikes. Cube is out of Germany. They're a manufacturer based in Germany. And we've got B&B Hotels riding KTM bikes. B&B Hotels, PB KTM. And of course, they're riding KTM bikes. KTM out of Austria. They've got Pierre Roland on the team. Cyril Gauthier. Two Cyrils. Cyril Limon. Of course, Pierre Roland is the Frenchman who has several notable mountain victories in the Tour. He's getting a bit up there in age, but we'll see how he does as well. And again, just to kind of set the tone, I wanted to kind of provide this framework of the teams. Let's do a quick rundown here just on, say, country of origin for manufacturers. So there's a lot of Italian manufacturers. So Italian manufacturers, we've got 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 23. We've got 6 Italian bike manufacturers, 1 Canadian bike manufacturer, 3 U.S. manufacturers. Several Germans. So we've got 1 UK manufacturer and factor. We've got 4 German manufacturers. So Italy first at 6, Germany at 4. We've got Switzerland, 2 BMC, 3, and Scott. So we've got 3 Switzerland, and of course the French with Lapierre and Ridley with Belgium, KTM with Austria. But Italy and Germany very present in the Tour de France this year as far as bike manufacturers. All right, so we'll look forward to the Tour. It starts tomorrow, and of course there's no prologue, there's no easing into it. Starts with stage 1, a lumpy stage 1 and 2, and we'll see if Mathieu van der Poel can pull off what he wants to do in getting the yellow jersey. And it should be an exciting race. Of course, after last year's race being postponed, this year's race is in the heat of the summer, which we all love, and hopefully we'll start to see some crowds on the side of the roads. And it should be exciting. All right. Well, that's it. Enjoy the Tour, and we will talk to you next time. Thanks for joining.